My 2-year-old granddaughter, Vivian, has discovered a thrilling new word. And that word is no. Yeah, she's learned that when she says no, life gets a lot more interesting. Sometimes saying no will bring her sort of an unexpected, and I have to think exhilarating, sense of freedom and power. Sometimes saying no will get her in trouble. Sometimes her saying no will stir up a lot of excitement/drama, as for example when she refuses to hold someone's hand because she wants to run headlong into the ocean, or she insists on coming down 2 flights of stairs all by herself. Thank you very much. So my son Ben and his wife Riley are learning about no also. They're learning when to say no to Vivian and when to kind of back off, right? Back off and give her a little freedom, a little room to explore, come to know herself, come to herself a little bit more. They know that if you say no to a child too much, it will crush their spirit. And you know the same is true for adults, right? If we hear no too much, it begins to crush our spirit. As grown-ups, often the one who's telling us no the most is ourselves, right? So we say things to ourselves. You may say it consciously or unconsciously. Oh, I could never do that. Oh, no, that would never work for me. That could never happen in my life. You know, we may have internalized messages from others that we picked up along the way that closed off possibilities for us. People telling us, oh, no, that's not right for you. You could never do that. And then really topping it off with, you know, you're not smart enough, talented enough, attractive enough, athletic enough, lovable enough, whatever enough it is. Fill in the blank. And the really sad thing is, we believed them. Right? Quite often we believed them. And we may have actually even given up a dream, a big dream or a small dream. We may have let go of something that was really calling to our hearts. And in the process, our world got a little bit smaller. We may even have thought to ourselves, well, I really have no choice. All of that is an illusion. All of it. We always have choices. There was a man who came upon an elephant farm. And he noticed, to his surprise, that the elephants were tethered by just a very small rope around their giant legs. And he thought, how odd. You know, they're not being held back by cages or chains or anything like that. This just this thin little piece of rope. So he went to the trainer and he said, why don't the elephants just break the rope and escape? Right? It would be so easy. Just one strong pull from one of those mighty legs, and they're free. But the elephants weren't even trying. Well, the trainer said, we use those same small ropes when the elephants are much younger and smaller. And at that age, these ropes will hold them. As the elephants grow up, they're conditioned to believe that they can't break away. They continue to believe that this rope will hold them. So they don't even try to break free. Wow. Well, sometimes we're like that, aren't we? Sometimes we are conditioned to believe our limited thoughts about ourselves, the limited thoughts that hold us back. We continue to believe that we don't have choices, that it couldn't be any better for us, that we couldn't do our heart's desire. And we do this frankly because we forget who we truly are. We believe that we're small or inadequate or perhaps even unworthy. But the truth is, we are powerful beyond measure. We are God in expression. When we say we are spiritual beings having a human experience, we mean that. We are the point of power through which God is expressing into this world. And we have all those resources within us, underneath our human weaknesses and fears and frailties and insecurities. Clear all that away. And at the very heart of us is the pure light and energy of spirit. And it is unlimited, divine, unbound, unlimited potential. All of that is at the very truth and the very heart of who we are. And this Spirit in us is always seeking greater freedom and fulfillment and expression in, through, and as us. I actually think of it like Spirit in me, this mighty force in me that was really just wanting to break me out of my shell. Same for you. Break you out of your shell so that you can experience a higher level of life, so that you can experience more love, more joy, more grace, more happiness, contentment, all of those things. You see, Jesus said, you're the light of the world. Oh my gosh, think about that. You are the light of the world. He was the light of the world, but so too are we the light of the world. Yes, we are, says Joan Elizabeth, and she's, listen to her. She's absolutely right. So that voice, our human voice, may say to us no. It may tell us to stay small, but you know what? That presence of Spirit in us is always saying yes. Why else would you continue to receive these nudgings of Spirit? This little sense of a calling, something that speaks to your heart, something that's pulling you. It's because Spirit is egging you on. It's like having your own private cheerleader in here. Spirit is saying, yes, listen to your heart. Yes, go for your dream. Yes, live the life that you have imagined. You have all the power you need to do it. I am the power in you to do it. Well, that's certainly what Moses discovered. Remember his story? So we can imagine Moses. He was out there one day, pretty much minding his own business out there by Mount Horeb, tending to his father-in-law's flocks, when suddenly he looks to the side and he notices that there's a bush burning. And by golly, that bush is not being burned up. It's not being consumed. Just as he's getting used to that idea, the voice of God comes booming out from the bush and says, remove the sandals from your feet, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. And then God tells Moses that he is to lead the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt and bring them to the promised land. Well, Moses' reaction to this is pretty much as you would expect. Me? Why me? And he even says, who am I to go to the Pharaoh? Who am I to lead the Israelites out of Egypt? And then God says, I will be with you. So Moses seeks a little clarification on that. He asks, okay, well, who exactly is this? Who shall I say sent me? Kind of thing. And God says, I am that I am. Sometimes translated as, I am who I am. This is a momentous statement. This statement tells us about the nature of God. It tells us that God is all beingness. God is foundational to all that is. God is breath. God is life. God is spirit and unlimited possibilities. And it is with us and in us and really us all of the time. So think about this. When Moses was first given this task, as long as he related to it from his personal self, his human self, he felt small, weak, and inadequate. But when he realized that God was with him, when we would say he realized that this higher power was going to be active in him, guiding and supporting him all along the way, he said yes. You see? And that same spirit, that same presence of God in Moses' life and within Moses is also true for us. God is always with us. God is our navigation system in here. God is this immense power that we bring to bear in the direction of whatever we are dreaming. I like to think of God as the great amplifier. Whatever we choose to create, God will amplify it. This is not just something I've learned in my studies. I've learned it in my own life. When I decided to leave Portland, Oregon after 27 years there and move to Kansas City, seemed like kind of a crazy thing to do, but my heart was set on it. I knew it's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be near Unity Village, and by golly, as soon as I set that intention, all manner of incredible connections and coincidences came into play to make it absolutely easy and actually effortless for me to make that monumental move. Same for when I wanted my dream job at Unity Village. As soon as I set my sights on it, boom, God, the great amplifier. And most certainly when I began dreaming of my perfect church. And I set my sights on this one. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. It all came together. So you see, God is just sort of waiting for the signal from us. Okay, what are you going to do with this great power? What are you going to do with this great intention within you? And as soon as we choose our point of focus or our vision or our goal, God says yes. So there's a wonderful minister, I believe she's passed away now, but her name was Sue Sicking, Unity minister. She wrote a classic Unity book back in the 60s called God Always Says Yes. And she said, this concept is so powerful. This concept is so pivotal for you to really get, that you are really the captain of your soul, if you will. You're the master of your fate, the captain of your soul kind of thing. God's always going to say yes to whatever direction you set for yourself. This gives you a lot to think about. She says, all is ours that we focus upon, intentionally or unintentionally, for all the power of the universe moves to make it so. If you believe and say, I am lonely, unhappy, and poor, or I am rich, vital, and fulfilled, all power rushes to support your belief. All your fears are answered, but the longings of your heart are also answered. As you think, speak, and act, there's always this response. As you understand this mighty power and your use of it, you have the answer to your own life. The law of life fulfills our desires, or it fulfills our worries and our fears. With God, there is no distinction. The answer is always yes. The choice is ours. Well, that's huge, isn't it? That gives you pause. It tells us that we better be pretty mindful where we're putting our attention, what is occupying the majority of our thoughts, because whatever we are focused on is going to amplify. We're going to get more of that. You see, the universe wants for us what we want for ourselves. And even though we may say, oh, no, I don't want that fear, I don't want that bad thing, when you focus on it, focus on it, focus on it, you're really bringing more of it into your life. See, the universe will respond to your direction. But remember that Jesus said, it is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. We get to decide what the kingdom looks like, right? We get to decide how big and beautiful and wonderful our life is going to be. And God says yes. This spirit of yes, when it's properly directed, when it's directed toward those things that really speak to our hearts, that really stir us and inspire us, it can be heart-opening, life-changing, mind-expanding. It can generate all sorts of incredible energy and gifts in our lives. So I'd like you to think for a moment about times in your life when you've said yes to something with your whole heart. Just think back. Maybe it's when you said, yes, I'll marry you. Maybe it was when you said, yes, let's take that trip. Or, yes, I accept this job. Or, yes, I want to buy this house. Or, yes, I'm getting this apartment. You see, when you're saying yes from this place within you, the longing of your heart, it has an energy to it. Or it may have come to you when someone else said yes to you, right? You received that from them. Do you feel a little tingle as you remember it? Do you feel like a little surge of energy in you? That's because this spirit of yes is always empowering. It's exciting. It's energizing. Well, I like to think that this... Oh, no, I'm actually not going to talk about that just yet. When we realize that we have this incredible wellspring of creative power within us, it can be a little bit daunting, can't it? It's like, oh my, really? I'm in charge of everything that's happening in my life? This is up to me? Sounds really big, doesn't it? It can make us feel like we're going to have to make some big, huge change, some big leap of faith right over there into the abyss, or so we think. Well, that's not how you make changes in your life, is it? Think about anything that you've set as an intention or something that you were going to proceed with, and you did it one step at a time. The important thing is to set a positive direction and begin. Begin, whatever small step it may be. Perhaps your path to new possibilities involves picking up the phone and calling someone, a phone call you need to make, or maybe it's an email you need to send. Maybe you need to do a little research on the internet about something you're dreaming of or thinking about. Perhaps you need to reach out to someone who can be a sort of a guide for you, or a mentor, or a teacher. Maybe you need to get some training or take a class. Perhaps your new path to freedom is about better health. And maybe your first step is to make a doctor's appointment, get those tests done. Or maybe it's to go for a walk, start getting a little exercise, adopt some healthier eating habits, whatever it might be. One small step, just begin, and you start to activate that energy of the universe. You know, I'm convinced that even though aging is inevitable, we only grow old when we are unwilling to get up off our butts and do something different, to try something new, or even just to get up off our butts at all and do something. That's how you keep your vitality alive. Haven't you noticed, if you even just reach out in the smallest way, that you feel this uptick of energy? You feel renewed, you feel revitalized. Well, I believe this beautiful spirit, this energy of yes, is actually very present here, and that Unity Renaissance exudes this energy. And that's not only because on sort of the larger level that we're holding a vision to expand our facility and to continue to grow our community and our reach. The spirit of yes is present here because of all the many ways in which people can give and create and serve and grow here. You know, if someone comes to me or one of our staff people or a board member, if they have an idea, hey, what if we did this? Could I offer this activity or this workshop, or what about this idea, or maybe this event, something like that. When people come up with, and they really care about something and they offer it, our first inclination is to say yes. I love that about this place. And the only caveats are that whatever it is, it must be aligned with Unity principles, and either you or someone you know must be willing to lead it. Right? And that's how people find ways to give their gifts. So just as a few small examples, when you came in today, you might have noticed the prayer tree out there. Linda Tucci created that. Linda Tucci came to me and said, hey, could we have a prayer tree? I read about that in the paper. Could we do that? Yes, Linda, we can do that. And just yesterday, she and Jeff recreated all of the tags on there that had been washed away and beaten down by the storms. That exists because of her. The art on our sanctuary walls, because Sandy Steffen came to me and said, I really love art. I wish we could support the local artists a little bit more. I'd like to bring more art into the sanctuary. Would you mind if I started an art ministry? Yes, do that, Sandy. And so we have it. When you notice our exquisitely beautiful grounds, I hope you take time to look around outside, because it is absolutely incredibly beautiful. We actually had somebody stop by the church, I'm not kidding you, stop by the church this week in the middle of the week, because she had noticed an incredibly beautiful bush out there and she wanted to know what it was. Wow. And of course, none of us knew. but we guessed pretty well. But all of the beautiful grounds are there because Ed and Linda Bradley, master gardeners, were willing to step into service and lead the new green team. Are they here today, Ed and Linda Bradley? I thought they were here. And the green team. Because they found an opening to give their gifts, you see, because we said yes. We have a new administrative support team that is making an immense difference in our operations here during the week. Takes a huge load off the staff because Debbie Amy saw a need and knew that she could find congregants who had skills to help. And thank you to all of you beautiful participants in the admin team. And the prayer shawl ministry and the tutoring, the outreach, so much of the outreach comes from Judy Hackman's heart, but also empowering people to go out and make that prison ministry happen. Let's go out and do that tutoring. Let's feed the homeless. Let's do it. Yes. Soon we will be starting a singles group here, and we'll be doing it because Joan Elizabeth Baxter said, I'd like to lead a singles group here. In 2 weeks, we're going to have a brainstorming meeting, so you're invited to come and talk about what you'd like that to do, what activities you want. A few weeks ago, a new congregant named Curtis Jones came to me. He gave me a copy of his new book guru in the glass. And then he continued to tell me about his story, his lifelong journey of overcoming depression, which he has now completely been free of for quite some time. Had amazing credentials. I started talking to him, and very soon after that, he agreed to come and lead a workshop. And he will be leading that workshop, Ascension Over Depression, on Saturday morning, October the 12th. You see, it's the power of yes. I think of it as let 1,000 flowers bloom. It's really what it is, because we're all ministers and we all have gifts to give. And let us never forget that here at Unity Renaissance, we walk, we sit, we serve on holy ground. So I invite you today to just tune into that stirring in your own heart. What's calling you? It could be something large, could be something small. We have a volunteer fair out here just full of opportunities and possibilities. As you walk by those sheets, you walk by those tables and talk to folks, pay attention to what causes that little uptick of energy and be ready to say yes. Because when you do, you expand your world, whether you're clicking on the PowerPoint, and we do need more people for our PowerPoint, whether you're going to be a welcome greeter at the door and hug people. How hard is that, man? That's pretty sweet. You're going to pass out the welcome bags, you're going to sing in the choir, whether you're going to run for the board or whatever it may be, tutor children. Come on, right? You're being called. So pay attention to that call and say yes. So I encourage you as you go through your life. You know, I'm very aware that my granddaughter, even though she thinks that no is she hasn't actually said it this way, but she thinks it's a pretty thrilling word, that the really thrilling word in life is yes. And so I encourage, she'll learn, and I encourage you, and we're going to make our way through no first. But I encourage you to not make no your knee-jerk response to life, to the invitations that come your way. You know, be willing to step into new possibilities, even small ones. Shake it up a little bit. Do something a little bit different. So I like to do a little exercise so that you can appreciate that spirit in you is saying yes to you. So I'd like you to just think for a moment of whatever might be coming to mind in this service today, something that, oh, that would be really cool, I'd really like to do that, or I've always wanted to do that, or I'd like to have that, or whatever it might be. And then I want us to say together, yes, and then your name, yes. So, to demonstrate, I would think of what I'm longing for and say, yes, Paula, yes. Okay? Ready? Bring it into mind, and let's say it together. Put in your name together. Yes, Paula, yes. Let's do it again. Yes, Paula, yes. I really want you to feel the power of God moving in and through every cell of your being, wanting for you what you want for yourself, and say it like you mean it together. Yes, Paula, yes. Ah. In the words of this wonderful plaque that I have on my desk, may you say yes to what is whispering in your soul and move with confidence toward a new doorway, because the universe is saying yes. Yeah. Let's turn now to our meditation. Let's close our eyes, get comfortable in our seats. Take a deep breath in. Release and let it go. Allowing yourself to truly let go of any old, outworn thoughts or patterns of behavior. Imagine just clearing them all away. And coming home to that pure, beautiful light of spirit at the very heart of your being. The spirit that is the truth of who you are, that is here to activate and manifest under your direction your highest good. I invite you to breathe deeply and let go into that sense of oneness. a great well of possibilities and peace. And listen for what is calling to your heart in the silence. Welling up in us, along with this uptick of energy as we consider new possibilities, expanded life, new joy. We are so open, willing, and ready, Spirit, and we are listening and we will follow. And for all these many blessings, for the joy of God expressing in, through, and as us, we are so grateful. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.